What is up, YouTube? I'm Galda874 here, bringing you guys Week 8 of APM's Fun League, or Ubers League. This week we take on Jed Swarlington, Jed Swarley, Jed, whatever you want to call him, coach of the Monterrey Suicunes. We are going into this game with a 5-2 record, while he is going into this game with a 2-5 record. I don't have to explain to you guys who Jed is. He is the owner of the APM and one of my best friends in the entire community. We have battled multiple times throughout the channel and even off the channel a few times. So he's been around for quite a bit. There's a little bit of a trend in these battles. I do end up winning them, which is pretty sick for us because if we do win this game, there is a very high chance we clinch playoffs. And if not, then probably have to win another game. But we're pretty set on if we win this next game. Whether it be beating him through calm-minding my way to victory or critting some of his mobs with flamethrower, we still managed to pull out the victory in the end. To recap what happened last week for you guys on a different note, we did beat Hanj in a really sick game, probably my favorite at the APM this season so far, and a game that ironically I came back with a Calm Mind Latios in the end. Sort of ironic because we beat Jed with a Calm Mind Slowbro back a long time ago in one of my favorite draft battles of all time. So it's pretty poetic that that happened the week before I faced Jed. But Jed's team is pretty scummy for two reasons. A, it's fat. He's got a lot of fat stuff on his team, as I'll get into in a second. And B, he sniped my ass and took the beautiful Naganadel in this draft, and I'm really not happy with him for it. He was kind of not sniping me throughout the draft, but a lot of times I had to be careful what I was picking just because it was Jed's turn. Like, I need an electric type, he needs an electric type, he's going to pick one up, I picked one up, and that pattern kept going throughout the draft, and it was really annoying to deal with. And hopefully we can bring him down in this battle and clinch a playoff spot. So now let's go look at the rest of his team and explain it. As I mentioned, Jed does have a pretty fat team for the most part, as you guys are going to see right now, as his team this week consists of Mega Mewtwo X, Naganadel, Hippowdon, Heatran, Raikou Zemus, Silvally, Alomomola, Umbreon, Comfey, Stoutland and Dynamax, and Golisopod. Now I expect Jed to bring consist of Mega Mewtwo X, Naganadel, Heatran, Alomomola, Umbreon, and Golisopod. I could bring Silvally just because Silvally can do so many different things because of its typing, but otherwise these are the 6 I'm expecting Jed to bring. As I say in every video, my opponent has 2 Ubers. Let's talk about them. First up is Mega Mewtwo X, the big threat in the room. I initially drafted Cofagrigus solely to deal with this Mega Mewtwo X right here. You can call that counter, don't really care. Cofagrigus has done more than just try and deal with this Mega Mewtwo X in this battle so far this season. I really enjoyed drafting it, and I've enjoyed using it. But at the end of the draft, I think Cofagrigus was one of the last picks I made, and I was just looking at my draft, and I'm like, wow, I don't have a switch into this. So here's Cofagrigus. I think Mewtwo needs a lot of coverage in order for it to do things in this game, because like without Stone Edge, it's not OHKOing Ho in any sort of world. Without Fire Punch, it's not going to be OHKOing Zor in any sort of world. You could run Bulk Up and maybe like Fighting Psychic Stone Edge to kind of make up for. That's the first Uber. The second one is Naganadel, the one that Jed sniped me of, that I have to keep mentioning. With Ho around, this thing is not a threat at all, but if Ho is chipped, it could be a problem because of Beast Boost. And what makes Naganadel so good is that you can choose what Beast Boost you give it to, like is it Spatak or Speed. Personally, in this case, Spatak being raised in this game is going to be a nightmare for me to deal with, because a +1 Naganadel is going to do a lot to Ho-Oh, and just my entire team is just OHKOs. I don't have many things are things, so I have to be really careful playing around it. Again, to reiterate, if Ho is fine, then this thing is not a threat, but if it is, then we will have some problems. Another big problem on my opponent's side is that they have the Umbreon Heatran core. And I want to talk about that because just in general, Umbreon is really annoying for my team. And Umbreon passing Wish and switching to Umbreon, and my best way to deal with it is Clefable. And Clefable doesn't deal with Heatran at all. So that's something I'm going to be struggling with a lot in this battle, and that core kind of forces me out into my win con really early, which you guys will understand really soon. But that, and then finally Golisopod can run Spikes, that could be really annoying for my team. Otherwise, nothing else is really too threatening outside of that. And that's what I really want to talk about in Jed's team. My breaker, I have an okay one in this battle. It's a Specs Latios. It's not the greatest here, but it can do some work. Just because, let's be real, Comfey's not coming. I have a Mega Scizor on a Ho-Oh. And then my cleaner, it's the first time we're bringing it this season. We're going to be taking advantage of the Dynamax mechanic. We're going to be bringing Dynamax Seismitoad. I'm really excited to bring this to you guys. But that is just a breakdown of Jed's team, and what I am bringing this week to this battle consists of Cofagrigus, Seismitoad, Ho-Oh, Clefable, Latios, and Xurkitree. I'm just seeing that we're basically 5 minutes into this video already. I'll try and speed it up a little bit. I apologize. First up is Cofagrigus. This is max HP, max defense with the Rocky helmet. Moves being Hex, Body Press, Toxic, and Pain Split. As I mentioned, this is my main Mewtwo Suicune, and it also deals with his lower tiers like Statline and Golisopod a little bit, and then the Silvally forms are if they're physical. Those are these Pokemon that Cofagrigus is mainly here to deal with, but it's mainly the Mewtwo. It's solely built because Rocky Helmet, Mewtwo has mostly contact moves, which is going to help chip it down quite a bit in range for my Scarfer on this team. Body Press is really good coverage for other mons here. Toxic is just really spammable. I know my opponent does have the Umbreon, the Alomomola who can refresh, and Comfey that has a normal therapy, so he does have a few clerics on his team, but at least forcing him to cleric up is going to be really nice. Plus, Body Press does a little bit less than half to Umbreon, which is really good chip considering how half my team doesn't even touch that Pokemon. And then Pain Split just to stay healthy throughout the battle. That's all I really have to explain about Cofagrigus. It's just here from Mewtwo. Next up is our Wincon. I'm really excited for this set. This is Max Attack Adamant Seismitoad with 56 speed and a Life Orb. My moves are Liquidation, Earthquake, Power Whip, and Power Up Punch. At +1 and in the rain, because I do have Swift Swim this week, if I Dynamax, I click Max Knuckle, and then I click Max Geyser, and I'm still alive, I kind of just claim a bunch of kills, because a +1 in the rain, my Max Geyser, or even Liquidation afterwards is just going to kill everything, even the Umbreon. And if not, if I'm at +1, then Power Whip should knock out the Alomomola, at least if it's a little bit chipped. That's something I have to do, is chip the Alomomola if I want to just kill everything with this Seismitoad. My opponent does not have a grass type, so that makes my life a whole lot easier. And just the coverage here, plus the rain, is insane. He could change the weather, whether it was sand with Hippowdon, but he basically has to sack his Hippowdon if he wants to do that. So I'm not really too worried about it. And plus, Toad comes in on a bunch of mons like Heatran, Raikou, Alomomola for the most part. I do have to be careful about it. It just comes in on a lot of different things, and then I can Dynamax and just click the buttons. It can break or clean. I prefer to clean in this game because I don't really have an alternative cleaner, while I do have an alternative breaker. But if I had to break with it, I can do that pretty easily. It's just a really good matchup for this Toad overall. Next up is going to be Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is rocking out with the boots. I have a decent amount of bulk in this set with Brave Bird, Earthquake, Tailwind, and Recover. Didn't know what to do with this move, so I decided to just put Tailwind in the end here and Recover over Roost just because I don't want to let that Hippowdon hit me with an Earthquake if I need to recover up on that thing. So that's why I went with Recover. I don't think my opponent's going to have much Rock-type coverage. Speaking of Rock-type coverage, this Ho can guarantee live a 0 attack Stone Edge from a Heatran, which is something I could see Judd doing because that's how he is. My Ho is meant to deal with this Heatran because I have Earthquake, and outside of a Rock move, Heatran cannot touch my Ho whatsoever. Didn't really need a fire move because my opponent has no fire weak mons on his team, so there was no point to it. Brave Bird was just better in every scenario. That's why I have Tailwind, just because I can have Seismitoad outside of rain still be faster than anything under a Tailwind. So I thought that would be pretty useful. And that is just the Ho-Oh set. Next up is Clefable. This is a pretty cancer Clef that's Spadef, but I do have the Rocks, Toxic, and Boomblast, and Soft Boiled. I didn't want Toxic on the set. I actually wanted something like Teleport or just something to hit the Heatran, but Toxic was just really nice. And in fact, Wish Protect Umbreon could still stall out my Clefable if I didn't have Toxic on it. So I was kind of forced to run that, which is really annoying, but it is what it is. It's here to get up rocks and just be a general nuisance and make sure the Umbreon doesn't 6-0 my team. It's also switching to stuff like the Alomomola, the Raikou, and a few other things. It can take one hit from the Mewtwo as well. That's another calc that's pretty interesting. I believe at least. I hope I'm right. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I take any one hit. And it's a standard Clef. I don't really have too much to say about this. It's just going to be annoying and make sure Umbreon doesn't get out of hand. Fifth is going to be Latios. This is max attack, basically max speed with the Modest Nature and Choice Specs. Moves being Draco Meteor, Psyshock, Earthquake, and Trick. Looked at my opponent's team. I'm pretty confident that Comfey is not coming. And the only Dragon Resist is the Heatran. While Heatran is a pretty good switch into Draco, otherwise his team's not going to appreciate me dropping Dracos on them. I just felt like it was going to be really nice. It still does over half to a Spadef Umbreon, so it's going to force that thing to wish itself up, which I can take advantage of. And it just OHKOs so many different things my opponent's team. It OHKOs the Hippowdon, I think Raikou, unless it's bulky. The Statline, not Dynamax, it OHKOs. The Golisopod will OHKO, though I have to be careful about first impression. and I just wanted to drop Dracos on my opponent. I thought about running Scarf because I could beat the Naganadel and Mewtwo that way, but then I lose out on so much crucial power that I feel like I'm going to need in this game. And I have Trick for the Umbreon too. Finally, we have Choice Scarf Circuitry with the exact same EV spread, moves being a Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, and D-Gleam. I didn't really know, it was either this or Mega Scizor, and I can't bring Mega Scizor because I want to Dynamax my Toad this week, and I'll be forced to have a Scizor holding a Scizorite that can't Mega Evolve. So I didn't really like that idea, so I went with the Circuitry here. It does make me a little bit more weaker to Umbreon, as I keep mentioning. That thing is the biggest threat, I think, on my opponent's team personally. That or a well-played Mewtwo. No, well-played Naganadel. That's what's scary. But Xerkes to outspeed Mewtwo and Naganadel, and if they're chipped down enough, I can knock them out and just be a general pivot offensively for my team this week. And there's not much else to say about it, and that is going to be a basic wrap-up of this team builder. I really think this Seismitoad is going to put in a lot of work just because of how good its matchup is. But we're going to head over to Pokemon Showdown, and we're going to watch the battle. As I say every week, we are here on Pokemon Showdown, and Jed did not bring Umbreon. Really happy to see that. It's going to make my life a whole lot easier in this battle. There is a Hippowdon. I'm not too worried about that. That just lets Latios in for free. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to lead off with Ho, expecting the Naganadel to lead, because he's been leading with that a lot, as he actually leads off with Silvally Grass. And that's good and bad to see. Good because I have a fantastic matchup off the start. Bad because my Toad endgame might be a little bit hard to pull off. So I have to kind of chip the Silvally down a bit. We go for Earthquake, as he has the Shuka Berry, as he basically always runs on this Heatran. And I know I can live a non-invested Stone Edge. As you're going to see here, I do live it, which is really good because Ho-Oh I'm going to need around for the Naganadel a little bit later. So I'm going to fire off an Earthquake again. He can't hard switch Naganadel on an Earthquake as Silvally Grass comes back out. That's smart because I don't think I'm going to outspeed this thing. I need my Ho-Oh, so I'm kind of forced out as they have the Rock Slide. So, you know, I sort of expected if you're going to bring Silvally Grass in on a Ho-Oh. I'm going to go back out expecting him not to click Rock Slide, as he actually clicks Toxic and misses. I do apologize for the miss. That would have been really good on my Ho-Oh. But I can go on to Clefable and just absorb this Toxic. I don't care if Clefable gets Toxic poisoned. Clefable's not doing much if Umbreon's not around, so I don't really care what happens with this thing. I thought he was going to bring in the Naganadel here, which is going to scare me, but luckily he didn't, as I just get my rocks up. So I'm still in a really good spot. I'm going to go on the Circuitry expecting like a Wish to be thrown up, as they actually go for Knockoff, and that's kind of annoying. I really wanted my Scarf so I can actually have some speed control in this game. Luckily, I have a ton of momentum because I just killed the shit out of this Alomomola with Volt Switch. It just dies, and I can go in the Ho-Oh to force out the Mewtwo or the Hippowdon here. Hippowdon. Why did I say Hippowdon? What? Anyway, Mewtwo comes out like I said. I'm going to Cofagrigus. It's mainly here for this Mewtwo. They're going to Mega Evolve, and they're going to click the Rock Slide and miss. So they also have Rock Slide. It sucks they miss, but it wasn't going to do too much. We're going to throw around a bunch of Velicify this turn, as he Toxics me, and I Toxic him back. So now we're both on timers. That's really good, because he does not have a Cleric at this point, so that Mewtwo's going to be whittled down at some point. I go for Hex, trying to just do some damage, as the Heatran comes in and lives, unfortunately. I'm just going to click the Body Press this turn as they go for Flame Charge, and they're going to die to my Rocky Helmet, so it's kind of a pointless turn, but Heatran is going to go down. I know Great Warrior brought Flame Charge Heatran against me in the regular season of APM, so it's pretty interesting to see that. Now comes the Naganadel. There's no way I'm giving this thing a free Beast Boost. I'm going around straight into Ho-Oh, back up to full because of regen. You go for Sludge Wave, they're not specs, they're not even Life Orb. As they go for T-Bolt, and does a decent chunk. As I'm going for Earthquake, and they live on 2. Kind of unfortunate, but I did the calc, and the only thing that can kill me is Draco. And luckily they go for T-Bolt, and they do not kill me, and I'm going to be able to kill this Naganadel with Earthquake. If they would have killed me with Draco, it wouldn't have been a big deal, because, you know, -2 attack, Beast Boost goes up by 1. And T-Bolt, as again, I calced it, that should never kill unless they get a crit. If they crit, then it could have been a little bit of a big problem, because I don't have my Scarf on Zerk. But I live, and we get out of that situation alive, and things are looking really good. I'm just going to sack my Cofagrigus to this Mewtwo here, as they're actually going to switch out into Silvally Grass. I go for Pain Split, so I get some more health into my Cofagrigus while whittling down this Silvally. Things are looking pretty good. This Mewtwo sets Rock Slide, Toxic, Seismic Toss, which is something I wasn't really expecting. Going to Ho-Oh again on the Silvally, knowing it has Rock Slide. I don't know why I keep doing that, but hey. Mewtwo comes in on the parting shot, so I'm going to switch right back out and get more generator health back, and just going to Cofagrigus. It's the same play over and over again, as they're going to click Recover. So their full moveset is Toxic, Recover, Seismic Talk, Rock Slide. Not quite what I was expecting, to be honest. But they Rock Slide here. They get a flinch, you're going to see. That's justified. They missed a Rock Slide and a Toxic already. But you're going to see they missed the Rock Slide here. And I'm sorry, Jed. That really sucks, because I'm going to go for Hex. And you're going to see here, it's going to knock the Mewtwo into Toxic range. So we're going to double down this turn. I'm not sure how much it matters at this point in the battle, but Mewtwo definitely would have been able to get another hit off with either Rock Slide or S-Toss, I guess. Again, not sure how much it really matters, but still, it sucks. I just get a free Draco kill at this point, as that's exactly what I'm going to do. Silvally is going to just drop to the Draco, which is great. I wanted to see the animation. Quack gets to kill this game, which is great. And all it is this Hippo, and guys, it's time. It is time for what I've been wanting to bring out this entire game, and the entire season, basically. But they go for Fire Fang, right? And Jed disrespects the hell out of this Toad and burns me immediately. I was so annoyed, because now I'm going to get big here. And Toad, I'm going to go for Max Geyser. But he's going to live because I'm burnt. And it's really annoying, but, you know, we still have this game on lockdown, because Lottie just has to drop a Draco on this thing, and I win the game. But I'm going to go do it through the Seismitoad, as Seismitoad is going to absolutely nuke this Hippo this turn with the Rain Up. And spoilers, as you guys can see, we are going to win this game 5-0, and a pretty solid game for us, despite some hacks going our way. But still, I think we played absolutely fine. GG to Jed. As it is written in the history books, we have once again overcame Jed in a battle. And this time it's really nice because we clinched the playoffs. Yes, we have officially clinched the APM Ubers playoffs, which is pretty exciting. I am trying to defend this title as we are the current champions at the moment. So, you know, we need to come back and win again. And clinching playoffs is just going to make it really nice for us. Regenerator, Ho-Oh, and Cofagrigus did a lot in this game. Like, they were doing so much work, much more than I was expecting them to do, which I was really happy to see. As well as we got to see a Dynamax Toad, which is also really awesome. I do really apologize for the misses, Jed. You missed a bunch of Rock Slides. I do apologize. I think the Toxic one was really big because Naganadel probably could have broken through my Ho-Oh, and I would have had to played my Toad and other Mons very carefully to play around the Naganadel if that were to have happened. So that's something I would have to be a little bit careful of, but that is the Pokemon. GG to Jed one more time. Thanks for the battle. We are going to move up to a 6-2 record, and we're playing pretty well. We're going on a win streak right now, which is awesome. We did have to face a Mega Mewtwo X this week, and now next week we have to go up against a Mega Mewtwo Y. We're going up against Lord of the Acorn and his Sun team, and a Mega Mewtwo Y to add on top of that. So it's going to be pretty interesting. That's going to be next week's battle, though. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft League content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm head out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.